Rob Lyons, our lovely admiral, and Greg Blobbin Dunn. It was.
Who's our lovely admiral?
The weird thing was, it was at the Lagrange, the very first Lagrange Con, and I just happened to walk in their room, and they were talking about something we discussed earlier. Rob was discussing uniformage and uniforms, and Greg was going, "Oh, but can we put those nice, cool little squares on the other side of the Monster Maroon, along with the rank pin or the comm badge?" And it just went up and just went from there, basically.
So you just joined for uniforms?
No.
A sick bunch. What are you most proud of during your tenure on board?
That would have been when I had all power. No, when I was captain. I originally moved it from Marion to Columbus because Marion was just so small. There was not much of a fan base, that type of thing. So I moved here to Columbus where we could grow and bring more people that can help me grow. And that's what we did. I brought in more people, such as the crew we have now, and we're a force to be reckoned with.
Ho, ho, ho. And tell us about Matt's captaincy.
Well, Matt moved the ship. This has been 94-ish or so, early 95. He moved the ship up to Columbus, and he reigned from like 95-ish until Terry took over in 98. He built a pretty good foundation, kind of rebuilt the foundation, and brought in a lot of new people, and really grew the ship. And then after 3 or so years, he decided that it was time to move on. And actually, at this time, Rob had come back more as an advisory role, as an admiral. He declared himself God Emperor and such. And what did he do? He laid the groundwork for us to start actually holding elections and stuff, so that when Matt stepped down, we had then our first election, which would have been in late 97, early 98, maybe like January 98-ish or so.
Tell us about Terry's captaincy.
Terry was the first elected captain. He took office in like February-ish of 98, and he served for about a year. And that's, I believe, everything I'll say about that.
So I had to step down as a commanding officer of the USS Maximilian, and that was perhaps one of the toughest things I had to do. But yeah, basically that's it.
What would you have changed during your tenure on board?
Well, you know, it's a tough question. I really don't know how to answer that, other than probably would have done more to get more members to join. That's really tough.
What would you have changed on?
Well, I would have liked to have been able to complete my 2 years tenure as commanding officer. I did have a lot of aspirations, things I'd like to have done. Perhaps probably would have listened to people more often than not. I have a tendency of shutting people out sometimes, which is a major mistake, because when you are the president of a fan association, commanding officer, so to speak, you're more of a president than you are. The fictional aspect of it is you're a captain. You have to listen to everybody's opinions and not try to form your own. You have to be completely unbiased, which I was not. A lot of things went in one ear and out the other. You can't do that. Heaven's sake, I never did anything like this before, and really didn't have a whole lot to go on. So I probably would have listened. I should have listened more. I know that I made a lot of mistakes, and for that I apologize if I hurt anyone's feelings. But it's tough being in the center seat. It's not as easy as it looks from the outside.
Tell us about Elaine's captaincy.
Elaine took over for Terry, and she ruled for not quite a year. I think there's a little time in between where Matt kind of was an interim captain between Terry and Elaine. And she served for maybe about 6 months or so. in late '99, I believe. Yes, did a good job, and well, she must have done a good job. We've given her admiral, so there you go, bestowed. Okay.
Tell us about Sidley's captaincy.
Sidley was elected. She was the second captain to be elected. That would have been 2000. Sounds about right. And Sidley did okay. Sidley did a something going on. Excuse me. Sorry. More important things were happening on the phone. Sidley. Sidley took over in 2000, and she did a really good job with like putting organization and putting things together, and like we got like quillions of people I'd never even seen before who would show up to like functions that we would do, mostly I think because of free food, but hey. And she reigned for 2 years and did good. She also oversaw, well, at that time, that's when Rob left us. And then I don't really remember much more about that.